Linh-chan and Dimi-chan play games. Welcome back, Chan-chans.
Hello, Chan-chan.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. So we're like a few days late because, of course, it's not even New Year's yet as we're recording this.
No, we're a few days early.
Yeah, we're a few days early, and this episode is gonna land a few days late. Oh, perfect.
Oh, it will.
Yeah,
It's
gonna land
okay.
on.
It's around New Year's time, so it's
I'm
all
gonna
good.
predict the future. Today is the 3rd.
You already know that.
Yeah. Hey, don't spoil it.
You already calculated that it's gonna land on the 3rd.
How would I have known that? It's not like we cut these episodes up into one-day segments, right?
Sure.
But anyway, since it is after New Year's, we thought, what good would it be if we didn't do a New Year's-esque episode? So we thought we'd talk about our New Year's resolutions, past and present.
Uh-huh.
Sound good?
Yes.
So, for instance, last year I had my New Year's resolutions were to learn Vietnamese, which I don't want to pause. I want to look at the map. Learn Vietnamese, which I kind of picked up later on in the year.
Like a month ago?
Like a month ago. But I've been doing it every day since. I think it's been like 2 months that I've been doing it.
Maybe.
And then another one, there's lots of parts to get. Another one was, so it was learn Vietnamese. Then what? I already forgot what my New Year's resolutions are, and it's not even the end of the year.
Oh.
Lose weight.
Lose weight.
And which I've been doing fairly well. I'm like, I nearly hit 20 pounds of weight loss, and then Christmas came, and I gained 6 of them back.
All in like 2 days.
All in 2 days. So next week I'm starving myself. That'll make everything better, right?
Yeah.
And then afterwards, what else? What else? I had a few others. Oh my.
You brain fart.
My brain fart. We just talked about this right before recording too. What New Year's resolutions did you have?
For last year or for this year?
For last year.
Oh.
Like how well did you do on them?
I think for a while I was learning a bunch of different languages. So I think since I stopped schooling, I was planning on doing or continuing self-study on those languages, but you know, work and life involved and everything and family, I didn't keep up that resolution.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's always hard too.
Yeah. So I did try for a few months doing Japanese like a few hours a day, every day, that kind of idea, or doing Chinese, but it's just really hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, it's not so much that like it's hard to have time to do it. It's like it's hard to make time to do it.
It's hard to make time, like, you know, going to work 8 hours a day and then coming home and then you're tired by then, you know, and having to sit through traffic for a couple hours every day just to get home. And then when you get home, you're tired, you want to eat, and then afterwards you just want to relax, you know, so there's really no time to study. And even if there is time, you're like, oh, the day is pretty much over.
Yeah.
You know, and you're exhausted from work, so.
Like I actually remember one of my other resolutions. It was to draw every day, to learn to draw, basically.
Yeah.
So I started off drawing every day and quickly realized that it takes more than 3 hours a day to draw something.
Yeah.
Which quickly used up all of my time.
Yeah, like if you want to like polish up a skills that you have or something like that, or start something new, it's not just making time, it's like making enough time so that you can actually get it done properly
along with everything else.
I think that's a difficult part, because I remember you did drawing, like you did them very well, but it was just time consuming. You spend like 3 or 4 hours when you think, oh, it's only going to take me a few, like maybe an hour max to just learn how to draw every day, you know, but it's not. So it's very time consuming.
Thankfully, at the same time, though, I realized I knew how to draw. Like, I didn't realize that I could draw well, but I guess just a few weeks of heavy practice kind of brought it back, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, if you've always been very creative ever since you're little, and having a mom who's always like into art and stuff like that, I think you already had that exposure since you were little, you know?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What's he doing back
And
there?
then my other resolution was to learn how to do programming, computer programming, which I kind of did a little bit at the beginning of the year, and then again, not enough time. And, you know, especially with programming, it's much more difficult to grasp than anything else. For me, language comes really easy since I grew up being a bilingual.
Yeah.
And then being exposed to so many different languages, especially when we live in California. In Southern California especially, there's, you know, many different cultures that we were exposed to as we grow up. So for me, learning a language has always been very easy for me. But learning computer programming is definitely very different. It's a language that, you know, it's a language, but in a different way of thinking, you know. So I kind of put that off for a while. But the I think about the last 4 months, I've been doing pretty well. I started picking up programming again, and I've been doing very well. I've been studying every day, you know, doing exercises, buying books, doing examples. So
well, it's the practice that really does more than anything. It's doing it all the time.
Yeah.
So, like for instance, I haven't played Pikmin in a while, and I have subsequently killed 20 blue men all in one go.
Yeah. For me, I need guidance when I learn something. Like, I'm not a person to just pick up a book and learn it on my own. I personally like do very well when I have someone there guiding me, instructing me where to go, like what to do. You know, I learn better in a classroom setting than anything else. So having to learn programming a very difficult
being self-taught is not necessarily for everyone.
Difficult topic. It's very hard, you know.
Why is this guy not staying grounded when he... Oh, there he is. He's like killing everyone.
He looks like a chicken.
He's kind of chicken-like.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put these blue guys to work. I killed most of them, but it's okay. They've served their purpose well. And that kind of goes together with language too. I mean, you were saying how you were bilingual from an early age, and so was I. I grew up learning French and English because my dad is French. And it's kind of a shame that my mom who is Greek. I didn't end up learning much Greek growing up, like I could have, and it's kind of a shame that I didn't. But it's...
Was it because she didn't want you to, or?
I think it's a mix of that and of like other factors as well.
I mean, for myself, definitely. My family is Chinese Vietnamese. So I grew up speaking Vietnamese automatically, but I've always wanted to learn Chinese, but my mom never let me learn Chinese because she thought it was a waste of time. And so we only speak Vietnamese at home. And of course, when we came to America, I wasn't born here, so I came when I was like 7 or 8. So at that time, like, I had to start learning a language at that age, you know, a brand new language with different culture and stuff like that. So she wouldn't allow me to learn anything else except English, you know. So the fact that she never let me learn Chinese, it is sort of
put a damper on, or it kind of encouraged you.
It kind of encouraged me to go on my own and learn it. So I started watching a lot of like Chinese movies and drama and stuff like that. And, you know, and so I learned quite a bit of Chinese from that. So I guess in a way I could be trilingual.
Yeah, I mean, later on I did learn more languages.
Yeah.
Jeez. I did learn more languages.
The learning, it's not that difficult. It's like keeping it too.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy for anybody to say, oh, I learned this, I learned that. But it's like, you need to be able to keep it.
But once you do learn it, you do pretty much maintain it. I mean, even if you don't speak for a long time.
That thing looks so gross.
We already fought one of them and they gave us a lot of trouble.
Oh, that's a blowhole guy.
Oh, there I go, killing everyone.
Why are you over there anyway? There's nothing here.
No, it's inside of him.
Oh, it's inside. That thing looks so gross.
Okay, you blow your thing. Good job. There we go. Let's kill him.
It's falling away. Oh, you did it all in one go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so that'll make up for me killing everyone. Okay, let's build this. Don't tell me I killed myself. Oof. Okay, let's be careful. He was just hanging out. But, like, learning a language, like, if you do learn a language, you most of the time retain it. Like, even after a long time. For example, like, I never learned Greek officially, but I will subconsciously understand Greek people. I don't know if it's because I did learn it. I never learned it, but I constantly grew up hearing it, you know? So it can be said, oh, he just ran right into the bomb. There's no helping some of these guys. But, like, even if you just hear a language growing up, that's oftentimes enough, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's how it was for me when I was learning Chinese. Like, I didn't actively take a class or anything, have someone teach me how to speak, but I learned quite a bit from listening, you know? And I would say I understand quite a bit more from listening than from speaking. And then when I was in college, I started taking some classes, and I realized I know a lot of these things.
Yeah, because you spent the whole time kind of subconsciously learning it.
Even though I never really, like, learned how to speak when I was younger, but, like, when I started in college, I wanted to learn Chinese. Like, I realized that most of the time, I knew what was going on, even never having to learn it, you know?
Never having learned it.
Yeah, never having learned it. English.
English is also a hard one. I mean, also when you do learn a language early, like if you do happen to learn multiple languages, it can be a huge plus for your development as far as learning languages in the future goes, you know?
Yeah.
Because you kind of set up your brain to be able to learn more languages. Am I not throwing them in the right spot? Oh, no. I mean, learning another language early, it can, like, be a huge help for down the line when you need to go ahead and actually learn another language in the future, you know? And just because, like, and then at the same time, though, just because you didn't learn a language early does not mean that it's, like, too late to learn a language at the same time.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, it just takes lots of motivation after that point.
Yeah, in linguistics, there's this hypothesis that they call the critical period. And this guy named Eric Lenberg came up with it, and the theory pretty much says that there is an optimal period when language acquisition can be easy, but after that period, learning can be difficult. But of course, during the time, it was just a hypothesis. There's really, you know, so a lot of people sort of like
understood it.
Understood that what his idea of that was, and a lot of people thought that the fact that they name it a critical period is sort of it sounded like
that's the only chance you have.
That's the only chance that you have. So then that's where a lot of people get that notion, if you want to teach a child a language, you need to teach them at a young age, or when they grow up, they're going to not be able to learn it anymore, you know? It's not that. What he meant from that hypothesis was that between, like, right up until puberty, the chances of someone learning a language, it's much easier because it has to do with the plasticity of your brain, how it hasn't fully matured yet. So it's sort of like absorbs everything that it comes in contact with. And after puberty, learning is still possible, but around that time, like, there's a lot of changes going on with your brain. So it makes learning a little bit more difficult, but it's not saying that you can never learn again.
Yeah.
You know, so for us who are like Dimitri's learning Vietnamese right now, it's not that it's impossible. It's just he needs to put more effort into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely true. Because I feel like that critical age hypothesis had more to do not with learning a language at the right time, but more about learning your first language. Because if you don't get that first language, then you have a lot of issues, you know?
Yeah, it's actually very important. It's actually critical when you learn your very first language. It doesn't really apply to your second language, but they couldn't, when they were studying it, they couldn't really study someone from the very beginning, you know?
Yeah,
because then it's kind of cool to just like isolate a child and never teach that child a language, you know? So then they started observing like second language learners.
Yeah, because that's the only thing that you can humanely study.
Yeah, exactly.
People have tried to study this in the past, and it's always kind of been horrifying to like read about these stories of like this parent that locks their child up in a room and doesn't give them any attention nor input or anything, and the kid at the end is broken, not in the sense of like where they're emotionally scarred or anything. Their intelligence, their ability to function is completely non-existent. I mean, looking at it from a purely scientific point of view, it's not a human, it's an animal at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, we rely so much on being in a social environment growing up and learning from others that when we don't get that, we are no different than other animals that we consider intelligent. You know? And it's kind of amazing in that sense. Well, anywho, we've survived another day killing every Pikmin and getting no parts to show for it. But at least we set up for getting quite a few parts, right?
I don't know. I wasn't even paying attention.
Well, I was trying my best to pay attention, not kill everyone. I think we lost a good 50.
Like I said, this is
Pikmin.
a really hard game to be playing and having a conversation with.
I think we're doing all right, though.
Sure. You weren't even finished what you were trying to say like 5 times already. Anyway.
Bye, Chan-chans.
Bye-bye.
Linh-chan, Dimi-chan, 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 Linh-chan, Linh-chan, Dimi-chan.